What's going on, guys? Aarava here, and welcome back to the Pitlane podcast, episode number 69 today, and to preview the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix and talk about a small bit of driver news. There's not actually been that much floating about news to really talk about, so it's mostly going to be our predictions and kind of seeing what the final round is going to entail. But we're back with usual hosts, myself, Callum, and Tom. So I guess we'll start with the kind of more solid confirmed news of the Toro Rosso boys. Hartley and Gasly got confirmed on Twitter by Toro Rosso that they are indeed going to be there for 2018, and obviously that's a pretty awesome thing for Gasly, and a more surprising thing and quite a story really of Hartley coming back to F1 after a whole kind of circle of being there as a test driver before getting dropped, doing his endurance championships, becoming a world champion there, and now he's got a full-time F1 driving Toro Rosso. What are we making of that? Brilliant.
It's obviously in the past couple of podcasts we've said that it's been so impressive to see that he's come full circle, and it's very rare that you see that. So it's always nice to see, because obviously he did get kind of elbow dropped out of the Red Bull kind of life, with obviously the likes of Vettel coming through, obviously Webber holding onto a seat for a long time. So it's good to see, and obviously Gasly as well. He's one of the hot shots that we've all wanted to see get a seat. He finally got a seat halfway through this year, or towards the end. And I don't think anyone's going to say he doesn't deserve that seat, because he's had some pretty good seasons recently in the lower categories. So no complaints from me. I didn't want Kvyat in that seat. I don't think anyone else deserved that seat. I really think that they've got a solid lineup, but I feel like they need some work. So I can't expect from 2018 Australia. Don't expect them two drivers to be on peak performance from straight away, but they've got a decent lineup to carry them forward for next year.
Well, you've got to factor in their engines, haven't you? So peak performance, don't think that'll be a instant thing by any means. I think they'll be a little bit off the pace there. I think you'll notice it if they start doing Fernando Alonso-esque performances, and that would be interesting, and that'd be the eyebrow raiser. But it's good, like you said. I think Hartley in itself is remarkable at 28 now, so
yeah,
that's pretty mental, to be fair. So fair play to him. Also Gasly, let's see what we can do. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be exciting, and I think overall just it's good to see a sort of fresh lineup. I mean, go back 12 months. Signs, Kvyat, that's changed a lot in it. So
it has. What's even better for Hartley is the fact that I think he's still contracted next year as a Porsche driver.
Yeah, I think he wants to stay.
Yeah, well, no, apparently he's going to be. It's not going to clash. Like Toro Rosso haven't got an issue with it. So
well, no, Porsche are pulling out of LMP1. So
yeah,
I mean
they're pulling out.
They want to pull out there, but apparently he's still going to be known as a Porsche driver. Like I think he's still going to be involved in. I don't know, any sort of
Porsche are going towards Formula E, so he might be a future.
I think because he's still sponsored by Red Bull whilst he was at Porsche the entire time. Like he still had Red Bull on his helmet the entire time. So I think it's kind of like the two brands had already meshed quite well together anyway. Yeah. So it's like there's no conflict of interest.
Webber had
too much
as well. Webber also had the same thing where he was like,
I mean, Webber's still
sponsored.
Webber's still sponsored by Red Bull and Porsche together. Like he's still ambassador for both. So it seems like when you get in there and you don't piss anyone off, you're in there for life in terms of the brands.
Especially if you're like a Kiwi Australian.
Especially if you're from that area. But I don't know whether you two saw on the Grand Tour little teaser today that was released with Mark Webber. It was quite clearly Mark Webber's still very much associated with Porsche. And if you haven't seen the video, basically, long story short, it was just a skit just to say that Mark Webber favours Porsche over the likes of Mercedes. But it's still got that underlying factor. Even though Mark Webber's now hung up his racing boots completely, he's still got that link. So I kind of like the fact that Porsche are holding on to them drivers, because I think they are giving them still little bits to do. But yeah, I think it's proved that Toro Rosso don't have an issue, Red Bull don't have an issue. And to be fair, for Brendan Hartley, that's two big names and brands to be backed by at that age. That's solid. That's solid for him. So I think he can sleep well for the next couple of years. I think he can be happy on that one. Yeah,
I think. But in terms of like we were talking about the other F1 driver news. So apparently, according to other sources, so from what we've gathered and what I've gathered so far, Canal Plus, which is French, and also I think it's RTL in Holland, might be something like that. Don't quote me on that. So far, those two have confirmed Robert Kubica is in theory signed up for not Mercedes, a Williams full-time seat for next season. Now the difference here, the key thing is here, it's looking like a race per race contract. What do you make of that, guys?
Or was it 2 years? Or was
Not
it race
sure.
by race?
Well, you were
The-
saying-
the tweet that I looked.
You were saying pay. You were saying pay as you go last podcast. I think now today there was more stuff coming out. It was a 2-year deal.
Yeah, the tweet that I found, it was a 2-year deal, which
Could it
is
be
still
a
quite
2-year
obviously.
deal whilst on a race per
Yeah,
race sort of thing?
it might
So,
have a
like,
lot of
he's contracted
asterisks
for
on
2
it.
years, but there's like a race by race clause where, depending on how it goes, he can.
Well, their
pull
details
out,
we'll probably
continue.
won't find out until maybe further into the season
But-
or whatever, or if he just get
yeah.
dropped.
He's back. It looks
He might
like.
be, yeah. But as apparently the big influence was Nico Rosberg, which is quite a big
Yeah, he's the
influence
manager.
because he's the current, he was the current world champion. Obviously, he's been drop kicked out of that seat as well. But yeah, like I'm glad that they've finally given him a chance because I'm almost got bored of the amount of times it's like, oh, Robert Kubica might be back. Oh, he might be back. He might be back. It's like, is he back or is he not? Because he's taking his jolly well time to come back now, and obviously with the amount of testing that he's done so far this year, you think that he's pretty much ready. So I think just slap him in the car in February and just see how he goes then. And I think he'll put his hand up and say if he can't drive, then he won't be able to drive before the start of the season, which will then leave Williams in the unholy amount of
Well,
issues
not really.
where
They're just drafting the rest, weren't they? What they were gonna do anyway. So I don't think they're in major trouble.
Paul di Resta and Lance Stroll. Like I know we just talked about Toro Rosso not having the strongest lineup ever. Like I know that's probably better, but that's
they
probably the poorest lineup if they
They
did.
could put some money on the table for Kvyat.
That's true. That is very true.
They could put some money on the table for Palmer. Or Palmer could put some money on the table, more like.
That'll be a story now. He comes out of nowhere.
Can you imagine Julian Palmer coming back? Oh, I wouldn't be able to
I
handle
couldn't
that.
imagine it. I couldn't imagine it.
No.
No, but I think,
I'd imagine
to be fair, they're the only other two drivers that would be able to be drafted in.
I would like to see Kvyat go to Sauber, personally.
I
Give
think
them
that's just a
cash
waste of a
boost.
seat, though.
Give them
Yeah.
a cash boost. No, because I think it's a seat where I think he'll have good competition if Leclerc is confirmed, which, hopefully good. But
Well,
I
what
think
about
it'd
man
be, I
like
think it'd be an
Gio?
interesting dynamic about it. And then also I think it's a fairly strong pairing in my opinion. I think Kvyat, he's been debatable at best in terms of his driver skill, but he has shown he scored Toros's only point in the second half of the entire season. So
Yeah, you can't take. To be fair, his Austin drive was very much underrated.
he's not just, you don't just turn rubbish overnight. Like, he outscored Ricardo in 2015, so there's obviously something there. I think he just needs to get rid of the whole Red Bull stuff and just go to like a fresh team, new project. Sauber obviously want to try and build big again.
I just think his
get
time's
going.
up. I think he's ran his course, in my opinion. Like, just
22,
I hate,
3.
yeah, but I hate that thing about F1. It's just like these drivers stay on too long sometimes when their time's up. Like I think he's ran his course. He's had a good crack at it. He's had a good crack. Go to another series and be a race winner in that series. I think
He could easily be a race winner in Formula E.
Like Sauber, I really hope that obviously Charles is there, and I'm really hoping that either Giovinazzi's waiting in the wings or he is involved straight away. Probably not, because Sauber need a cash injection, so probably Ericsson will stay on, I'm guessing, for a cash injection, because he's got sponsors with the team as well, who actually own part of the team as well. So, unless Ferrari's influence plays a big part. But I'd rather Ericsson stay on for the cash rather than Kvyat come over.
No, I'd rather take Kvyat.
Because I don't think Kvyat's going to bring cash. I don't think Kvyat's actually going to bring that much cash.
No,
I think
he hasn't
Ericsson's going to have far
He
more
hasn't
cash.
ever needed to bring cash.
So for
being
Sauber's sake, I'd
being
rather
Red
that
Bull.
Ericsson just be there as a cash donkey, basically.
No, because I don't think Sauber need money anymore. I mean,
Are you
I
sure?
I don't think Ferrari's going to inject that much into
no,
them.
but I'm pretty sure since when they got bought out earlier in the season, they're looking pretty alright now. Like, there's literally been not a single headline about them going bankrupt.
Yes, but you've also got to point out the fact that how much development has gone on that Sauber this year. I know they're focusing on next year. I think they are anyway. Well, they should
yeah,
be.
but that
better
just
hope
goes to
they are.
show.
You
I
hope
mean,
they are.
they're not stupid, so I'm guessing they put money into this car because they've got money to burn. I'm going to guess, because otherwise it makes absolutely no sense for them to
Like,
upgrade
they have been the
their
slowest
car
car
this
all
season.
year, so that's quite. Obviously for Kvyat, like that's like going backwards in his case. But at least he'll get a Formula 1 drive. But that's the thing. We all want Leclerc in there. Most of us want Giovinazzi there as well, and I don't think anyone would ever argue against them two, because them two are like the next hot shots. Them two in the same team, I think would make many Formula One female Formula One fans very wet. But yeah, we'll see on that one, because that's the thing. Where does that put Verline in the whole wings of things?
Well, if it's going to become a Ferrari B
we said it
team,
before. It's just like, well,
it's like
awkward.
as he almost ran his course as well, like
awkward.
Fiat.
no, I think he'll get drafted into Williams as soon as he turns 25.
I hope that's the plan, because otherwise Mercedes really haven't done him good at all.
Outside shout, what I think will happen, Bottas has got 1 year remaining on his contract. Ocon will get drafted in to replace at 2019, and then Verline will take the 14th seat. Or maybe Perez could go before then, you don't know. So
I've just almost had like a mini fit thinking of like my two favourite drivers in the same team. Like Ocon and Hamilton in the same team would actually be decent. I'd love to see Ocon against Hamilton in that sort of situation, but that's literally the only way that Verline can move up the production line if Bottas gets kicked out, which, let's be honest, Mercedes are very safe. Yeah, they're very safe. So that's not going to happen. So unless Bottas wants to change route, get off the Mercedes production line and go elsewhere, I doubt it. And there aren't that many teams really available, because every like lower team now has got the big one. Like obviously it's Red Bull and Toro Rosso. You've got Ferrari, Haas, and Sauber. Then you've got Mercedes, Force India, and Williams. Does that leave any? The only team that leaves out is Renault. It's kind of mad, actually.
And now they're pegged down, pretty much.
Yeah.
So
that's mad, actually. The fact that you need to get in a driver market now.
It's like it's always been a problem, but like running up to this year and onto the next 2-3 years, the problem's going to be emphasised more, that there's just not enough seats for all these talents now that are coming through the ranks, that are winning F2, winning GP3, and like coming through the ranks. Just there's not enough seats.
I think, like, looking into like the end of next season, you could potentially see Raikkonen and Bottas both leave their teams, which that would trigger a huge domino effect if they were both to leave at the same time.
You know,
because
the
then
biggest
you've got a
domino
Ferrari
effect.
seat going, you've got a Mercedes seat going, and then whoever takes those seats, obviously the ones who have moved will leave their seats behind. So that could trigger a big domino effect. But I think, just speculation for now. But I think in terms of obviously other driver news, we mentioned World Endurance with Porsche. I think we here's the thing. I think secretly Alonso wanted to do World Endurance Championship with Porsche, but because they're pulling out, he's just gone for Toyota. So even still, this guy, Iron Man, he's like a racing Iron Man. Like, he will do anything, and it just goes to show he badly wants a Triple Crown. Badly.
He just wants to race, I think, more than anything. Like that's the thing now.
I think he wants to enjoy his racing. Yeah, like
just saying it's not even frustration. It's not like any sort of frustration, though, is it? It's literally just like, you know what? If you're not going to give me a chance to race, I'm just going to go elsewhere. And obviously, impressed in Indy 500, which kind of expected it. And I feel like he'd probably wipe the floor clean at WEC as well, because he's Fernando Alonso. That's the thing you can't deny against him. But well, that's the thing, because he wants to do the Triple Crown, doesn't he? So he wants to do Le Mans, but then obviously there's this thing of, does he want to do the whole season as well? Which technically he can do, unless McLaren, unless McLaren are in a championship winning position next year.
You can imagine him. You sign up for a whole season of World Endurance, and then first race of the season, McLaren bag a couple of podiums, gets the World Endurance contract. Out.
Sorry,
focusing on the more important one.
I think fair play to him. That guy, like, just in this McLaren Honda stint, I think he showed it at Ferrari how he could drag a bad car through and just show his raw skill. But I think, like, even in just the last year and a half, 2 years, at his age of 36, I think he's in his prime. I think that guy is like, I've never seen him better before, and I've seen him forever, like his entire career. I've never seen Alonso so good before. Never. He is fast. Really
He's just
fast.
relentless now. But and that puts Stoffel Van Dorn in the bloody limelight as well, because he's been doing a bloody good job in McLaren as well. So, like, if you think production line and what sort of drivers they've got on their hands, obviously McLaren are on a pretty good little streak as well, with Lando Norris in the wings. So, see, this is the thing, driver markets. It's just all about speculation and shit. But it's all a big laugh until literally the only thing that makes everything shift is when a world champion decides that he's had enough, which is obviously the big one when it comes to Lewis Hamilton, because the amount of questions he's got at the end of this year saying, "Are you going to retire?" like
Yeah.
now.
That's an interesting debate. Like, and also the shots he took towards someone in particular.
Well, actually, obviously, yeah, he did a bit of shots fired against Rosberg, but
I find it really interesting when people say about he could actually get Schumacher's 7 titles because he's won 4 now. I don't think people are actually like quantifying the numbers of how hard of a challenge that's going to be. Like,
yeah,
he would need the rest of the current V6 form era to be perfect and still Mercedes be dominant for another 3 more years before the current engine regs just to tie the 7 titles, let alone beat it. Like, it's not that near.
Yeah, it's
like Hamilton's saying like it's within grasp. Literally, one season ago he had 1 month ago he had 3 world titles, and that's like the proportion's not even half to 7. So, I'm not angry, but like
yeah.
you need to win at least 5 or maybe even 6 because to beat 7, like we're not talking equal, we're talking about beating 7 and win 8. He's on 4, you've got to double it, and he's 32.
Well, this is the thing. This is the big thing because we've literally just spoke about the fact that Fernando Alonso is in his prime at the age of 36, 37.
But I don't feel like Hamilton at 36.
But this is the major thing, isn't it? Everyone's thinking that Hamilton will pull out the sport earlier than that. So, let's say he's in the sport for another 3 years, like maximum. Then obviously he's got to win the championship every year. And obviously, if 1 year he might miss out by it, or if he's far away from it, that's probably when he'll hang it up. And go,
I just can't see him winning 3 more world titles in a row. That's like, I mean, there's a lot that can happen, man. Like, even it could be on 6 and they draft Ocon and he whoops him in that last season to win that 7th. You know what I'm saying? It literally could be anything. So, yeah, I think when people start talking about their numbers, I think stay in your lane, hold up, hold your horses.
The Schumacher fan says.
Yeah. So when we talk about numbers, it's another combo. But
yeah. Anyway, Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, Abu Dhabi, long season, a lot of mileage, a lot of laps, and last race.
A lot of Renault engines that might go boom, and you might
Red
be able
Bull.
to smell it.
Christian Horner saying they might have to do a scrap heap challenge with Renault to survive the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. All of them, like all the Renault teams. I mean, they already had to struggle at Brazil, so it's gonna be an interesting one. If something does happen like that, it'll just be a bit awkward and comical at the same time. Like. Like, already got a bit frosty at Brazil. Like, can you imagine at Abu Dhabi, like, halfway through the weekend, like, oh, just don't have enough parts now.
I mean, at least you'll be vlogging it, won't you? Vlog it.
Yeah.
Drama.
Vlog the Renault failure.
I'll try and get a shot, like, behind the paddock.
Yeah. To be fair, though, like, going into this weekend, out of Mercedes, Ferrari, and Red Bull, I'm trying to work out which one will be the quickest. And obviously, we've tried to do this for every Grand Prix weekend so far, and normally got it wrong.
I'm going to rule out Red Bull straight away, based off of last race and the logic of the whole engine thing, cut down on power.
Yeah.
I'm going to rule them out.
I think Merck will go well. Hamilton.
I might just go straight in for the prediction, to be honest with you.
Hamilton doesn't have an issue like qualifying, which it's not going to happen in terms of like the rain making him making a mistake like that. So
might rain, definitely might rain.
The forecast at Abu Dhabi's like, oh, it's changed dramatically. There's one more cloud than we thought there would be.
One more cloud.
I'm going to go for it. I'm going to go for my prediction straight away.
Let's go for it. Fine, yeah. Qualifying.
I'm going to say Raikkonen pole, and Raikkonen wins the race.
That's bold.
I'll think of my remaining 4 whilst you two.
Okay.
So,
go on.
I'll say Hamilton pole because he's always been that's one of his favourite tracks, and I think of all tracks he'd probably nail that one. I don't know who will win it. I want to say Vettel just for an interesting race. Fuck it, let's have a good one.
I'll put Vettel pole to cap off the season, like one last little dash in glory on Saturday. I think though Hamilton will take the win. I think he'll be able to do it. Again, kind of like Cal, I hope that whoever gets pole is not the man who wins it. I hope there's like it's not going to matter for anything, but I hope there's like just a little bit of swapping around. Nice.
Literally, all 20 drivers are just going for the sake of it. Like I know, like lower down, but at the front, just go for the win. And that's just how. I think this is what the beauty of when the championships are wrapped up early. It doesn't mean shit for the top teams. They can literally go ham sandwiches.
I feel like Kimi could easily do another like 2013, was it?
I'm feeling a 2012. That's what I'm saying. That's why my prediction I've gone for Kimi. I'm feeling a 2012
no.
vibe.
I mean like a 2013 where he just went out the Grand Prix on lap 1 because his tyre popped off.
No.
I feel like Kimi could
he hit the back,
I feel like Kimi could just dive it in and like go for it like we just said, and it just won't work out again like 2013. And like
I don't want that to happen though.
My prediction is the opposite. I'm thinking 2012, and I'm thinking now when literally it means nothing. Hamilton will actually retire from this race.
Yeah. I mean, it would like he hasn't retired yet, so
like Hamilton might be in the lead, so like Raikkonen never really does it on merit. So like Hamilton be winning the race and Raikkonen somehow second, and then literally just like 2012, but in different teams. So like Hamilton will just retire from the race, Raikkonen will pick up the scraps and somehow bring it home. I think
same 5 years
Raikkonen,
ago.
Vettel, Bottas, Verstappen, Ricciardo.
I'll go Vettel, Hamilton, Ricciardo, Bottas, Ocon. Fuck it. Why not?
Alright. I'll go. I said Vettel pole, so I'll go Hamilton win, Vettel second, Bottas third. I'll go Verstappen fourth, and I'll go Sainz fifth, and I'll have Raikkonen out of the Grand Prix.
Random. This is the thing, because I'm just trying to think like battling wise, because like last year, obviously the end of last year's race was sick.
Mine's just wishful thinking that Sainz will finish off the season.
I
really
can't
well.
see that much battling going on.
No, it's Abu
Dhabi.
Dhabi.
The 2 straights, but there's never been any good racing
Also,
there.
early call, massive retirement.
All right,
You heard
ruin
it
his
first.
final race again.
You heard it here first. No, these things never end well. I'm telling you.
It did at Brazil though for him.
Yeah, but that wasn't his last race.
Yeah, it was the last.
race.
It's his
Last
home
year was
race.
the real. Last year was the real retirement, and that didn't end well. So
Then again, you could say the same thing about Button last year.
Well, yeah, that was a tragic ending.
That was so tragic.
The
Like,
bloody
I've never
suspension
seen such a
arm
bad
gave way.
last race.
The
well,
suspension.
Monaco wasn't any better. That was another chance to redeem himself. Didn't go any
yeah.
better, did it?
And he ended up putting Ferrari on his side, but
Double McLaren points as well.
I think I was
Alonso
trying to work
sixth.
out how well McLaren will work.
Alonso will be 6th or 7th, best of the rest.
I think Alonso could do 6th, yeah.
The final sector will be all right.
It'd be 6th if obviously Hamilton retires in my prediction. So yeah,
I think they'll be pretty okay through sector 1 as well. I think. I mean, they'll be lacking a little bit,
Sector
but they'll be
3 will
okay.
be
They can make it up in turn 3 and 4.
Yeah, just carry this.
Sector
through
3.
and then
They'll be like
breaks.
And yeah, sector 3 they should be good.
Sector 1
And
and 3.
then-
They'll be alright. 2s will be the one where they'll be like.
Oh no.
And then in terms of like the Red Bulls, I feel like we're just going to see. Hopefully, we see a couple of dives from Ricciardo because he's got 2 long straights to have a go on.
Yeah.
But knowing how, I just said 2 long straights, but he'll probably be diving it in that triple right-hander in the final sector. That's the sort of thing. We haven't seen an overtake in that corner in a long while, so I think of all people, Daniel Ricciardo, just steam it up.
I think we'll see another madness like was it 2012. Where it all kicked off in that little section and just I think wasn't it like Maldonado's tyre whipped round and smacked Webber's and it broke off in that section.
yeah.
Was
That's
took off.
I think there'll be another. Oh yeah, and also that. I think there'll be a little bit of chaos there maybe on lap 1 maybe hopefully. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I just want some good battling in the midfield. I think we'll have some decent-ish battling. I just hope it's not like the Force Indians on their own, and then the Renaults, then McLarens, then the Toros. I don't really want that. I'd like them to be a little bit mixed up and everything.
Hartley
but we don't know.
P10.
And to be fair, if Hartley could round off the season with a point,
Well, I'll say Toro Rosso 1 point.
I hope Gasly can get it. I'd rather get.
I'll say Toro Rosso.
any of them two, I think that'd be a good
Yeah.
way because I think Toros have had a stinker of the end of the season. So
I mean, it's just a typical. It's annoying. They always start off pretty damn well, and they just exponentially drop quite a lot because they just can't keep it up compared to Red Bull.
They just decide that they don't want to be competitive anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty much it. I mean, don't want to go on for longer than we need to. So nice little neat shorter podcast for Abu Dhabi. We won't be back straight away with a review because I'm actually going to the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, so I'll be flying back on the Monday. But I think we can record one probably on the Tuesday and get it out by Wednesday. So little review of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix on Wednesday, probably next week. And then after that, we'll probably be looking to do that kind of Christmas special of reviewing the entire season again. Nice, chunky-ass, long podcast, like an actual podcast length. Try and get in maybe Justin again, because I think you guys enjoyed that when we did it as a 4-man. I think that was a good dynamic between all 4 of us. So look out for that in December. But yeah, for the next podcast, probably next week on like Wednesday-ish probably, to review Abu Dhabi and just wrap off any little things. You know, we may have the news of Kubica maybe happen at Abu Dhabi, so maybe we can just tie that up. Any other loose ends. But yeah, until then, hope you guys enjoy this one. If you did, hit that like button. Let us know what you thought in the comments below about anything we talked about. If you're new around here, do get subscribed to this channel for the podcast. Check out these 2 in the description below. Twitter handles, as always, above our names. You can check out GT Omega and use the code PitlaneF1. That directly helps us out on the podcast if you use the code at checkout for a 5% discount. And we'll see you guys next time. I hope you guys enjoyed the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, and we'll see you guys for the next podcast. Goodbye.